Lincoln. A city of history, a city of beauty, a city of ghosts. For something which is denounced by so many, it is still believed in by a vast percentage of the population. It's a subject which is close to the hearts of those people, and is much more than an entity, but a hope of an afterlife. Lincoln is highly regarded to be one of the most haunted cities in the country. Being only 13.8 square miles, there have been over 180 ghost sightings reported, many recurring and some more credible than others. But why are there so many? Is it the rich history dating back to the Romans? The deaths and executions held within the cold stone walls of the castle? Or the ravaging plagues of the past? Why is Lincoln a ghost town?
I've worked at the Peacock Inn for 4 years. The Peacock Inn originally was a coaching inn. I'm pretty sure it's got the white staff to begin with. It's always been a public inn. It's never been over commercial premises apart from a public house or coaching inn. There's only 4 major coaching inns in Lincoln to begin with now, but the inns that were here essentially are all on the main thoroughfare, like the Peacock Inn, the Adam and Eve. You go further down, you go past the Green Dragon, which one of the predecessors to the throne of Aragon, a king, actually stayed there. So the main thoroughfare of Lincoln. But this doesn't mean they're imbued with a supernatural sense of aura. It just means they're buildings that have been here a long time. Now, in the 4 years I've worked here, I've never seen anything. I've never seen ghosts. I've never seen dancing ghouls. However, at night, if this is an old pub with lots of drafts, if you turn all the lights out and you go to check the back door, you do get a chill. That's from the chill from the wind, not a chill from the paranormal. The living landlord, who's alive at the moment and to my knowledge has no predisposition towards suicide, laughs and jokes when people go, do you know, 6 landlords hung themselves? And he goes, did they? I don't know, I've been here 22 years, never heard of that. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. They hung themselves. I've been in a cellar many times. It's about, you have to be shorter than 5 foot to not stoop. So unless this is the prancing pony from Hobbiton, and you happen to be a hobbit, therefore less than 4 feet tall, to hang yourself in that cellar would be quite a feat, because it means you'd have to be about 4 feet tall. I don't know, it's quite difficult to hang yourself now, it's only 3 foot high, isn't it? A Ouija board now, there's no difference between a Ouija board and a crucifix. The iconography is identical. Basically, that's an inanimate object, and what you do to it, you instill in it a power that comes from within yourself. Those particular objects have no gifts, no powers, no resonance whatsoever. Okay, if on that particular instance, they were doing at 12:30 at night, these girls at 12:30 at night, after drinking alcohol in a spooky end of the pub, I say spooky, I mean drafty, they were drunk at 12:30 at night with a piece of wood, and they were moving it around going, oh, I'm speaking to the dead, I'm speaking to the dead. 12:30 at night, drafty, Lincolnshire, quite flat, very windy. If an elephant were to jump through the window and gone, kabam, that's it, I believe in the supernatural. 8 months later, a drunk in a car, leaving a Christmas party, comes through the window. Makes you think, doesn't it? I'm getting quite annoyed because it's bugging me. There's things that are concrete, like there's philosophy, there's science, these things exist, the moon exists, the sun exists. A bunch of pissed adolescent women and a drifty part of the pub going, oh no, that's Jesus, that's Elvis. No, it isn't. You're drunk. At night, touching a piece of wood with candles. The fact this thing is given credence, the fact people have to run around making documentaries about this shit annoys me.
Well, my connection to the pub behind us is that my wife and I were friendly with one of the landlady and landlords here, Maureen and Michael Catterson. Their children were at playgroup with our children, and we became quite close and quite friendly. And that's when I could tell you about the spooky thing that's in this pub behind us. My parents kept the Bull and Chain in the early 70s, and I've worked for nearly 30 years on and off at the Peacock for 7 different landlords now. I think it's the oldest outside the city walls, and I think you'll find the Lion and Snake is the oldest inside the city wall. Early 70s, when we first took a pub, my mother was the landlady of the Bull and Chain for some 3 or 4 years. I could tell you there was something in that pub without a doubt. The upstairs part of the old house, we lived on the 2nd floor up, and it had 2 spare rooms at the top. One night when we were all in bed, there was a walking about upstairs. I opened the bedroom door to come out and met my father on the landing, and he says, "Have you been upstairs?" I said, "No." And so I checked on my brother, who was asleep in the room next to me, and I used to have a big Alsatian dog, and the dog was afraid of nothing. We got to the foot of the stairs and the dog wouldn't go up. It was absolutely backing up on you with its hair all sticking up and growling, and I couldn't have dragged that dog up there. But my dad and I went up in the dark because there was no electricity up there, armed with a torch and a truncheon. Never found anything, but we often heard things, sounds of people walking. You hear it, but in the cellar in that pub, I would often go down and change a barrel. You always had the feeling someone was stood behind you. You turn around to expect to see somebody there, somebody following you down the stairs. Quite eerie, quite creepy. And as rattles go, we had one night, my wife was working behind the bar, and we had a glass literally off the shelf and hover and drop. And another night when everything just took to rattling. I honestly thought we were having an earthquake because every glass in the pub and bottle on the shelves was jumping about, only for a few seconds.
In 1364, a jewel-encrusted casket containing the head of Bishop Hugh of Avalon was stolen from the cathedral. The head was discarded in a field just outside of Lincoln, guarded by a pair of crows. At the beginning of the 21st century, reports came in of a head rolling down a pathway in the cathedral quarter, bowling over unexpected victims. It is now widely believed to be the discarded head reenacting the events.
I'm born in Lincoln, and I've lived in Lincoln most of my life. I believe there's something out there, because when one's experienced things, one sees the other side of it. Some people just never get that, they never get that experience. And then that's why so many people will dismiss it and disbelieve it, because they can't see it or pick up on it. A ghost or a spirit, it's obviously a haunted soul of some description, or person that's troubled from the past, the one they just put right. And the spirit or ghost will not be laid to rest till that certain situation's revolved. There's a possibility out there, and I say I've experienced on the edge of things on several occasions, and I wouldn't dismiss it. I'm a fairly regular practicing Christian for that matter, but you just wonder what some people, why they can't accept things are as they are. I was in a 3-ton Ford D van going up Scunthorpe that way. Done the top end of Lincoln drops, going out. And with being diesel, doesn't rely on anything from the battery. But for nearly 3 miles, it was a moonlit night, lucky enough, and the bloody lights on that truck went out and they all wouldn't work. So I kept going. He says, I've got to make my schedule. And whoosh, the woman on horseback came the other way. We were pretty sure. He says, I've not been brought up to believe in anything like this. Are you seeing as believing into it, or is it not disbelieving, you know? So, and then when we got to the crossroads, to turn to go over to Curtin Lindsay and drop off there, the lights come back on that wagon, so you work that one out.
Ghosts and their existence will always be a heavily debated subject, with many believing in their presence and others opposed to this belief. One thing is known for sure: ghosts will always have an impact on society, and Lincoln will continue to be a city of ghosts.